Sveiki gyvi, čia Paulius iš Perkūno namų. Kalbame su Wolfu Hoffmannu iš Accept. Hello Wolf, if I'm not mistaken, this is your second gig in Lithuania.
That's right.
You have been there previously 2 years ago. What are your memories about that?
I remember it has been a fantastic gig. It was only the second show we ever did with Mark. We played the very first show in May of 2010 in New York, and then we came over here to Europe for the first time, and Vilnius was the first place we ever played. So for Mark it's a special thing because it was the first time basically outside of the United States that he's ever been anywhere.
And it was very special for us.
Yeah,
this year you have already played in America, Europe.
Everywhere. We've played everywhere.
You are going to play in Asian countries.
Yeah.
Where do you like to play most? Where do you have the truest Accept fans?
We have the truest fans wherever we go, pretty much. It's just the way that people react is sometimes slightly different. I mean, but overall we have a very dedicated fan community, and I can really say Accept fans are very unique. They really know our material very well, and they're very loyal fans. You know, we have some fans that go back 30 years, you know, to the very beginnings of the 80s, and so yeah, we have a great variety of fans, you know, all the way from 21 or 16-year-old kids all the way to 50, you know, so it's quite a range.
You have a very solid musical career with many albums and many great songs. Is it difficult to come up with a final set list for live shows? Do you argue much about what songs to play and what not to play live?
We don't really argue much. We just try them out. You know, we always have a certain amount of songs that I think we have to play every. There wouldn't be. A show wouldn't be complete without Princess of the Dawn and, probably Balls to the Wall and Fast as a Shark, Metal Heart. So there's a number of songs that we'll always play no matter what.
And what songs do you like playing most yourself? The new ones or the classics from 80s?
I don't really have much of a preference, old or new. I mean, it doesn't make much difference to me. I don't mind playing songs that are 30 years old. It doesn't bother me one bit because they're my songs and I enjoy them. When the audience enjoys them, we get into it. I'd much rather play a song that everybody enjoys 100% than playing some song that I enjoy, but only 60% of the audience really knows and likes. You know, there's no fun in that. You really want to play the songs that the audience enjoys the most because we do the show for the audience and not for us.
What bands influenced Accept most? What I mean influences?
Early on in the 80s and actually 70s, going back to the 70s, it was bands mostly from Britain coming. It was Deep Purple for sure. Uriah Heep was one of those bands back in the day. Then there was, probably to a smaller extent, there was actually Queen was very big, but they didn't really influence us much. The Scorpions were around, then Judas Priest and AC/DC.
Did your musical taste change during these 2 or 3 decades?
I have no musical taste. I'm tasteless. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff now, whatever is available, basically. But as a teenager, I think you sort of develop your. My theory is whatever you like as a teenager is probably what you will like for the rest of your life. Yeah. I mean, that's what I see in a lot of fans. We're talking to them. You know, there's a lot of stuff out now that I can't get into it. You know, there's such a huge variety of music out now, and I'm not even trying to follow it. So don't even ask me of what my favorite tips are or favorite new bands, because I don't have any.
Okay.
What bands influenced Accept most? Early on in the 80s and actually 70s, going back to the 70s, it was bands mostly from Britain coming. It was Deep Purple for sure. Uriah Heep was one of those bands back in the day. Then there was Queen was very big, but
bands have difficulties, problems when they change their vocalists, because the fans say that we want the old one, it's a nostalgic thing.
Sure.
But it seems that Mark Tornillo really fits in the band very well. How did you find him? And did you have to choose between him and someone else?
No, we didn't audition for anybody. We just happened to meet Mark one day and decided he's the one. It was a very weird, bizarre story. We were not even thinking about reforming Accept. Accept was basically finished because Udo had said he had no interest in working with us ever again because he wants to do his own band. And we couldn't understand it, but we had to accept it, as a fact. We didn't have a choice. And just by pure luck, one day we found Mark Tornillo when we were doing a jam session. We invited him just for fun to sing along. And we found his voice to be phenomenal. And, we asked him whether he wants to join Accept and if he has any interest. Because we found his voice fits perfectly to do the old material, and that's a very rare thing. He sounds very reminiscent of the old singer Udo, but at the same time he's got something extra that really spices things up, and it really allows us to do material that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So it's really the best of all worlds for us.
About your latest album, Stalingrad.
Yeah.
It seems to be in the same line with Blood of the Nations.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Could you explain the process of creating this album? Who wrote most of the songs and lyrics?
Yeah. Accept has always had the same creative process ever since the 1976, basically, or 79 when we made the first record. Peter and I always get together and jam on riffs and come up with the basic song ideas first. And Peter is actually a real good singer as well. So we sit together and he starts singing and we come up with something that you could call a song. But usually there's no lyrics at that point. He's just sort of mumbo-jumbo English, fake English, fake lyrics. No, sometimes it means something, but mostly it does not. And we do that for a gazillion songs, like 30, 50, 100 songs. And then we go back and pick the strongest ones out of those and decide, this could be a real song. And then we rework it until we are happy with it song-wise, musically. And then when everything is sort of at that stage, we give it to Mark and he'll come up with some changes and some real vocals and some real, lyrics. And then it slowly but surely will form into a song, but it always starts with Peter and myself.
One of my favorites in this album is opening Killer Hung, Drawn and Quartered.
Oh, good.
A heavy metal song with lyrics enough brutal for death metal.
Yeah. It was more of a tongue-in-cheek. It was obviously not
Whose idea was to make such a merciless
That was Mark's. And this is a good example of a song where we had no idea what it was supposed to be about or what it was called. We just knew, da, 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 da. That was all we knew, And it didn't make any difference to us what the song is all about. Some other songs, for instance, Stalingrad, I knew right away when we were writing it, this is a song about Stalingrad, and we had the inspiration. We had watched some documentary about the Battle of Stalingrad, and I thought, ooh, this would make it cool. This sort of inspired me to write that song with Peter. And we always would go, Stalingrad, so we always knew this is going to be about Stalingrad. But some other songs, we don't have a clue what they're going to be about initially.
About Stalingrad. Why Stalingrad? Why? Because it's one of the most bloody battles of all time, or maybe.
Well, you named it already. That's the reason why somebody should write a song.
Is there a message behind that?
It's no message. It's just we're writing a song about it. You got to write songs about something, and this is a very horrific event that changed people's lives, millions of people's lives forever, and many people lost their lives, and we thought it's you know, that's good enough reason to write a song about this. We're not really focusing so much on the historic events and the brutality of this battle. We're just using it as a background. We're trying to tell the story of two soldiers that are actually two opposing soldiers, a German and a Russian, who in their last moments, in their dying moments, realized they're actually closer to each other than they ever thought, because they're both at that point, you know, brothers in death.
Both victims of their regimes.
Well, yeah, and I mean, never mind the fact that this whole battle was really a lot about nothing, because nothing was really much gained on either side from it. But it was definitely, you know, they both realized that, you know, we're all going to die here together, so we're very much alive. Next, we're going to do a live DVD next year. That was our goal, and after that, we're going to jump right back into the studio and make another studio album. So, you know, we want to write this out as long as we can. I mean, we're not the youngest anymore, but we feel full of energy, and we think like we got many good years still ahead, and I think the best is yet to come.
Do you already have some ideas for this?
Yeah, album? many. I mean, we don't really ever write on the road. You know, like I said earlier, we mostly get together when we have to get together, and dedicate the time, and Peter and myself, and just start writing. You know, but you have to almost, personally, I have to almost be in a certain state of mind to do it. You know, it's very hard for me to do this kind of. I take this work very seriously. To write riffs and stuff, and it's not something that I can do in 5 minutes or spontaneously. At least the songwriting. Sometimes you have a spontaneous idea about a riff, but to turn this into a great song sometimes takes a little time. You know, it's not something you can whip out in 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
Okay, cool. Very much. Thank you.